The second type of mycorrhiza are called endomycorrhiza. Endo means the bulk of the fungi will now grow inside the root tissue. That's why it is called endomycorrhiza. So in this case, the bulk of fungus occurs inside the root tissue. That's why it's called endomycorrhiza. Now, this type is more variable as wide variety of tree species, herbs and fungal groups are involved in this. Thus, it has been further classified into, so there are total 6 categories, which are arbuscular mycorrhiza, monotropoid mycorrhiza, ectendomycorrhiza, ericoid mycorrhiza, arbutoid mycorrhiza, and the last one is orchid mycorrhiza. So you will classify endomycorrhiza in 6 categories: arbuscular, monotropoid, ectendo, ericoid, arbutoid and orchid mycorrhiza. Now we will define all these categories one by one. The first is called arbuscular mycorrhiza. It's abbreviated as AM. Okay. The earlier this type was called vesicular arbuscular mycorrhiza, VAM. Okay, but now it has been renamed as arbuscular mycorrhiza because formation of vesicles is not a strict criteria for this category. That's why the name has been transformed to arbuscular type. Now, this is a most prevalent AE, most prevalent endomycorrhiza, as almost 80% of plant species show this association, and the fungal genera involved are from a group Glomeromycota. Okay, so members of this group Glomeromycota, this is a newly formed phylum in fungi, Glomeromycota. Its member, they show this kind of association and it's present in almost 80% of the plant species you see. So it's most abundant type of the endomycorrhizal association. These are characterized by presence of intracellular hyphae, extra-radical mycelium, and finally branched hyphae called arbuscles. Okay, so this is a fundamental structure that all fungi which are associated in this group, they have intracellular hyphae growing within the cells, and extra radical mycelium means the one arising from the outer sheath mantle, and finally branched hyphae that grow within the cells forming arbuscles. Now some species also form vesicles, but it's not the strict criteria, that's why the name vesicular word has been removed. Only in some species we see the formation of vesicles. Now what are vesicles? The enlarged portions of hyphae that become filled with lipid bodies. Okay, so when we see the cross section of the fungus in which vesicles are formed, the cross section of the root in which the fungal partner has vesicle formation, we see very large structures and they have lipid bodies. You can clearly see them under microscope, and generally these vesicles when get detached, they can serve as propagules. They can give rise to new fungal thallus. Now the plant bodies, generally the trees which are found in association with this type, they are Jingo, Thuja, Sequoia, the tallest tree. Then we have already written that many herbaceous genera, they are also involved with this. Okay, so they amongst herbs we see most of the cereals. So wheat, maize, rice, okay, then shrubs also like rose. So majority of the plants, they will show this type of association, that is AM type. And the fungus, fungal members, they are from the group recently introduced in the classification called Glomeromycota. So the members under this group are Glomus, Sclerocystis, Gigaspora, etc. These fungi are obligate biotrophs. Okay, that is a characteristic feature of this group Glomeromycota, that they are obligate biotrophs, means these are dependent entirely on host for carbon compounds. That is the meaning of obligate biotrophs. So they cannot survive independently. Okay, the second category we are going to discuss monotropoid and the arbutoids under single heading, that is because they have some similarities. So we have arbutoid and monotropoid, it's O, monotropoid mycorrhiza. These are found in members of order Ericales. Okay, so the order Ericales has number of families under it. In them we see arbutoid and monotropoid forms growing. These have Hartig net as well as intracellular hyphae. Okay, because it's endomycorrhiza, so intracellular hyphae is must for all the categories. Intracellular hyphae. Now, what is the difference between these? In monotropoid form, epidermal cells are invaded by single hypha forming peg, whereas in arbutoid forms a hyphal complex develops in epidermal cells. Okay, so you will observe number of hyphal ends growing in that, number of branched hyphal structures which are seen growing within the epidermal cells in case of arbutoid form, whereas in case of monotropoid form you will observe only a single peg-like structure, a large peg-like structure. We will see the real pictures, real cross sections, and you can easily make out that this is a monotropoid form. Okay. Now the examples for this are monotropa. Okay, the fourth category is ectendomycorrhiza. These are like ectomycorrhiza. See, as the name suggests, it will be having characteristics of both ecto and endo type. So basically these are like ectomycorrhiza, arbutoid and monotropoid types, as they form mental we studied in case of ectomycorrhiza, Hartig net, mental and Hartig net. However, they are confined to conifer genera only. Okay. So, whenever we talk about the group conifers, coniferales of gymnosperms, all the trees, whatever association they have, that is considered under ectendomycorrhizal type. Few species they will show purely ectomycorrhiza as we discussed in case of the first category, but majority of the species they will show this type. Now here the examples are Pinus, Larix, and fungi associated is the class Ascomycetes. In case of ectomycorrhiza, it was Basidiomycetes mainly, but here we have the members of Ascomycetes. Whenever they are involved with conifers, that association is called ectendomycorrhiza. Okay. Then the next category is orchid mycorrhiza. Now these are restricted, as the name suggests, to angiosperm family, Orchidaceae. where fungal associations are obligatory for germinating seeds as well as fungi show association with roots of seedlings and mature plants. Okay, so it's associated with the plant body as well as with the seeds, because the germination of the seeds of most of orchid species is dependent upon fungal partner, because they don't have food reserve stored in them. They are very small dust like seeds. That's why they need a fungal partner which will dissolve the nourishment available around the seeds for the absorption by seeds, so that the embryo grows and it comes outside of the seed coat. So it's associated with germinating seeds as well as seedling and mature plants. Now fungi in this case belongs to class Basidiomycetes, which form intracellular coils. So the hyphae, they are coiled within cells, and those structures are called pelotons. The examples are Cypripedium. These are orchid genera. Another example is Paphiopedilum. Last category is Ericoid mycorrhiza. Now, as the name suggests, these are also present in the members of family Ericaceae. So, these are found in families Ericaceae and Epicridaceae. It's P-A-C-R-I-Daceae of angiosperms. Okay, so two families are involved. In these, specialized lateral roots are formed called hair roots. Okay, very fine roots are formed in this case, which are showing the association. They are called hair roots, and here the examples are, generally the berries are associated in this category, like Vaccinium. Vaccinium is cranberry. Okay, not all species, few species of cranberry. Then there is blueberry. The genus is same, Vaccinium, blueberry, right, Y also. So they are under the genus Vaccinium. So in them generally we see Ericoid mycorrhiza. Then another example is Rhododendron. It's a plant generally found at higher altitude. There also we see this kind of association. And the fungi associated, like we have, they belong to the group like Cytalidium. Then another example we have Mixotrichum. This type is extremely important in healthy land ecosystems where nitrogen is bound in various organic compounds. Okay, so generally where the nitrogenous compounds are being formed, because they will finally make the soil rich in nitrogen. So they are very important from the health point of view as far as a particular ecosystem is concerned. So in the end we will draw a small diagram in order to show the formation of arbuscules and vesicles. So we are going to show the root surface. This is epidermis, which give rise to root hairs. Now below epidermis we have cortical cells. And we are going to show a fungal hyphae here, and that fungal hyphae will develop within cells intracellularly. So let us suppose a spore germinated and the fungal hyphae establish themselves within cells. So they will cross epidermis and then they will show formation of hyphal coils in few cells. Then you can show the branching in order to make vesicles and arbuscules in different cells. Okay. You can show the branching towards 2-3 directions. So in one we will show the vesicles, which are large structures in which abundant lipid bodies are present. So the terminal ends this get swollen up and they fill the area of the cell and develop lipid bodies, and they can serve as propagules for development of new fungal thalli. And towards other side we will form further branching of these hyphae, as many branches as you can show, and then you will make further branches, a brush like structure at the tips. These are arbuscules. You can show one more layer below this. Okay, so in the cortical region we observe the structures like arbuscules and vesicles. These are formed. So the labeling part: root hair, epidermis, vesicle, arbuscules. Okay, so you can show as many branching and number of the cells which are in association with the fungi, showing these kind of structures, and these are the coiled areas of the fungal hyphae. So this is TS of root showing arbuscular mycorrhiza, AM type. Okay, so that was all about the second kind of association, that is called mycorrhiza, and the root association of a similar type that we call mycotropy. This is a third category. It's a very small definition, mycotropy. What is mycotropy? It has been seen that there are many angiosperms growing on decayed organic matter as saprophytes. This you all know. Such plants are called saprophytes, or they are also called humus plants. Okay, and they are non-green. They will bear scale-like leaves. So they are getting nourished. They are unable to make their food, so they get nourishment from the dead decaying organic matter. That's why we call them saprophytes. Now, in these cases, the underground stem bear endo or ectomycorrhizal associations. This association is called mycotropy. The examples in this case are Corallorhiza. Another example is Epipogium, Neotia. So this is a kind of association in which plants which cannot prepare their food, which are commonly called saprophytes or humus plants, they live in association with the fungi. Their stem gets associated with endo or ectomycorrhiza, and that will help in solubilizing the organic material for these plants. This kind of association is called mycotrophy. Okay, and we have few examples like Corallorhiza, Epipogium, Neotia, etc. And the last type of association is associative symbiosis. Symbiosis means a give and take relationship. It means here the organisms, they are benefiting each other, which are living in a association, but there it was a kind of obligatory association. But whenever we have a loose kind of mutualism, that is called associative symbiosis. Means we have seen that some bacteria, they live in close contact. They are not living within those roots, but they live in close contact with the roots of cereals and grasses, and they fix nitrogen. So it's a kind of mutualism, but in a loose form. The bacteria are not living within host cells. Okay. So just a small difference from what we started for the nodulated plants. So here some bacteria live in loose association with roots of cereals and grasses. Okay. This association is called associative symbiosis, and in this case it's the common examples are, so I am writing examples here. So the examples are Azospirillum in association with cereals. Then another example is Azotobacter in association with Paspalum. It's a kind of grass. Another example, the most common type, Begirrhynchia It's found in association with, it's an association with roots of sugar cane. Okay, so these are the examples. So associative, how it is different from the type we studied for leg hemoglobin, because there the bacteria were growing inside the host plant and giving rise to the structures called nodules. That was a kind of association where bacteria and the plant is behaving as a host plant. Whereas in this case, it's a kind of loose association. Bacteria are living in vicinity of the plant roots. They are in a kind of loose connection, and it's called symbiosis because it is going to form, it is going to fix nitrogen for the host plant. Okay. So in this case, bacteria fix nitrogen for the associated plant. Okay, and in return whatever root exudates will be, whatever secretions are released by roots, they are taken up by bacteria as their food. Okay, but no shelter is provided as it was in case of nodulated roots. So that is the difference. So with this we finish the topic of the interaction of roots with microbes.